The Knicks and Mikal Bridges in particular. The Knicks have been kind of a roller coaster ride all season. They're above 500, and their offense is really good. I think they're number 2 in the NBA in offense. But their defense has not been good. And remarkably, while we began this season talking about Mikal Bridges' weird Bill Cartwright-like shot, and that's still something that is, not a resolved issue there with his shooting. No. It's been inconsistent. But it's his defense, Rachel. Like, this was a guy that in Phoenix was a lockdown defensive player. And now it's just average at best. He has not been the guy that the Knicks thought they were getting in this trade with Brooklyn, where they gave up 5 first-round picks to go and get him. A big deal to go and get him. What's your read on the Knicks right now?
I mean, look, I think that the media and sort of, New York fan base is not easy, right? Have jumped the gun a little bit on declaring, the Mikal Bridges trade wasn't worth it, all of that stuff, because as Josh Hart, came to his defense, it's a big deal playing for a completely different team, a different shift in the positional expectations for him. And even though these guys played together in college, there is nothing like playing for the New York Knicks. Nothing, even in Brooklyn or anywhere else, will prepare you for every little move you make being dissected. And it can be just sort of a mind thing where all of a sudden you're doubting yourself. He was saying that he was having trouble sort of getting a shot together, and that affected his defense. I mean, they obviously need him to be better on both ends of the floor. We saw he had a great game the other night. I think he scored more than 31 points. So he clearly has the capability to do that within this group. I just think it's going to take a little time. I mean, we saw with Damian Lillard, who we were just talking about, it took him the whole season to adjust to a trade that he didn't expect. I don't know if Bridges expected this a little bit more than Dame did about uprooting his whole life to Milwaukee, but even across the river, it is a completely different world. And playing for Tom Thibodeau is a completely different thing. I'm thinking, does he lead the league in minutes played? I know he leads the Knicks in minutes played. He's up there. And this is a guy who
Tibbs
we know
runs him out there a lot of minutes.
A lot. And, Bridges has that Iron Man streak. I don't know if it's going to survive Tom Thibodeau. We'll have to see. But he's playing more minutes than he's ever played before. So I just think everyone needs to hold. Please take a minute, hold on our opinions in both directions. Because, by the way, I saw an article a couple days ago where someone was saying, oh, yeah, he's been benched toward the end of fourth quarter. Should they bench him overall? Is it time to bench him overall and give him a few days off? And then this morning, I think it was Sports Illustrated had an article about, Bridges' sudden outburst in the Knicks win, does that revive their championship hopes? It can't be this much of a swing.
I didn't write that. I didn't write that. For the record, I didn't write that.
No, you did not. I would say. But, and by the way, I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking a look at if he plays well, what does that do to their total team and their chances? I was just kind of using that to demonstrate, hey, man, it can't shift every few games or even every few weeks. You've got to give him the time to adjust. And I do think that he's such a good player and he does so many things right, the little things on the court, that I can't imagine he's going to keep having this kind of trouble. That's just sort of my read.
Yeah. I think the defensive slippage in Brooklyn was in part due to him having to absorb such a bigger offensive role. He went from being kind of the guy playing off some really good players in Phoenix to the guy in Brooklyn, where he was asked to be, the star on both ends of the floor. That's really tough for even the best of players to do. And I think that contributed to it. And look, you're probably right that all the focus on his shot, affected his attention, the defensive end. But if I'm the Knicks, I just need Mikal Bridges to be a great defender. They've got so much offensive firepower. They don't need him to be a 20, 25 point per game scorer. They don't need him taking 15, 20 shots per game. They need him to be the versatile defender that he showed he could be early in his career, because that's what's going to make or break them in the playoffs. They're going to get buckets. Brunson's going to get buckets. Towns is going to get buckets. They've got guys that can make shots. They don't have enough guys that get stops. And they're going to have more to figure out in the weeks and months ahead. Mitchell Robinson is going to be back. Precious Achiuwa is going to be back. All of a sudden, you're going to be faced with, all right, is Towns now the 4? How do we make all this work? Where does Bridges fit in there? I just... For the Knicks to be successful, I think he just has to be a lockdown defender. I don't know they need so much offensive firepower from him.
Yeah, I think just you worry more about what you're doing offensively when it seems like the entire world is on you about it. I mean, that is You and I both spent, I lived in New York for decades, like the
Same,
two
yeah.
decades. Like you've spent a lot of time in New York. Like it literally feels like you walk out the door if you're on a sports team in New York City, and just the noise around you. People are literally, you're not in cars. Like people are coming up to you face to face on the street and yelling things at you. You pass by a newsstand and it's right there. The tabloids, with these screaming headlines. Like it is a different experience. And I think because people are on him about his offense so much, he's worried about it. He doesn't feel comfortable, and that's affecting his defense. I mean, he's literally said that. I think once he becomes more comfortable overall, when he can find a little equilibrium and the fan base kind of can see that he's found a little equilibrium, I think his defense will be there. And then it's a question, as you say, of, is the shot making going to be there? Is the scoring going to be there? And how much will they really need him to? Again, I just think he's going to settle in. That's my prediction. We'll see.
Yeah, and he got under the spotlight very quickly because remember, it was our friend Jared Weiss that posted the video of him shooting at the guard, and everybody started seeing the video like, what is going on with that shot? Has a tough shooting night against the Celtics. All of a sudden, his teammates are defending him, saying it's going to be fine. Even for, the best of guys, that's going to creep into your head a little bit. I am anxious to see how he kind of plays as the season plays out.